It's Thursday, August 28th.
I'm so scared, and so a teacher laid me downstairs. Me and my friend Cece were just praying.
Minneapolis is in mourning after a deadly shooting targeting school children taking part in a mass to mark the first week of school.
You know, they really sounded professional on the phone. You feel embarrassed that you let yourself get scammed like that.
A Montreal senior loses more than $50,000 in a scam and is now at risk of losing her home.
See these characters on the news last night that went into the LCBO up in Kitchener? They're brazen bunch of crooks.
Ontario's premier speaking out after a group of unmasked men were seen calmly loading bottles of booze into bags at a provincial liquor store.
Their development is so impacted by forming their identity at that age and the influence that these algorithms have on the content they're seeing.
A bill introduced in Nova Scotia could make it the first province to put a minimum age on social media use. Stay with us, Canada. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to your morning, everybody. Anne-Marie's away this week. I'm Lindsey Deluce.
Good morning, and I'm Teddy Wilson. Hi, Canada.
Yeah, hi, good morning. I'm Kelsey McEwen. Thanks for starting your day off with us.
Yeah, let's turn right to the top news stories we're following here for you this morning. A vigil last night mourned the victims of a mass shooting at a Minneapolis high school, Catholic school.
Who do not carry this all alone.
So this vigil was one of many remembrances held in the city in the wake of this tragedy. 2 children were killed, 17 others were hurt when an attacker opened fire into a church. At the time, there were children and others inside, marking the first week of classes.
I just ran under the pew, and then I covered my head. My friend saved me though, because he laid on top of me, but he got hit.
The attacker died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police have named the shooter as 23-year-old Robin Westman. The FBI now investigating the attack as an anti-Catholic hate crime. According to the advocacy group Everytown for Gun Safety, there have been at least 58 shootings at U.S. schools this year. Border security and fentanyl trafficking were the topics of conversation at a meeting between Canadian officials and the U.S. Attorney General. Justice Minister Sean Fraser called the 45-minute meeting productive. He was accompanied by the Minister of Public Safety and Canada's fentanyl czar, Kevin Brosseau. Fraser says they talked about shared priorities and that the meeting was an opportunity to highlight Canada's ongoing efforts in the fight against fentanyl and criminal organizations. A fundraiser has been held to help a Montreal senior who was scammed out of thousands of dollars and is at risk of losing her home.
Well, it's sort of embarrassing. You know, you feel embarrassed that you let yourself get scammed like that. So it's not a thing that you really want to tell your family.
89-year-old Diane Riley lives in an assisted living facility with her 2 adult children who both have special needs. In February, she says she got a phone call from someone who had said he was part of an anti-fraud squad and that her account had been compromised. Someone then came to pick up her bank cards. She says the scam cost her more than $50,000, and she did not realize her rent check started bouncing back. She's now trying to pay for those missed payments so she and her children can continue to stay in their home together. Ontario's premier is now calling out the suspects of a robbery at a provincial liquor store.
They just do not care. They go in there, they start loading up. And you know what's ironic? It's the taxpayers' money, the LCBO. And so they're stealing off the taxpayers.
Waterloo Regional Police say the chief and Premier Doug Ford have been in contact over the issue. Deputy Chief Jen Davis says these types of crimes are skyrocketing. She says they have already had more than 900 LCBO-related calls this year and have laid more than 500 charges. Investigators say this could be linked to multi-jurisdictional crime groups and are working with other police forces to find the suspects. Dalhousie University is now offering arbitration, which could bring an end to a week-long lockout of its faculty. More than 1,000 full-time professors, librarians, and counselors have been locked out after a failure to negotiate a collective agreement. They've been offered a 2% wage increase per year for 3 years. But the union wants a 7% wage increase in the first year, followed by 4% hikes in years 2 and 3. If the union now accepts the offer to engage in interest arbitration, the lockout would end. The union is scheduled to hold a rally tomorrow, and the fall semester is set to start on Tuesday. A bill has been introduced in Nova Scotia to put a minimum age on using social media.
Restricting social media access to Nova Scotians under the age of 16. This has happened in other places of the world.
The Nova Scotia Liberals who tabled the bill say similar restrictions have been taken in countries like Australia and Norway. It puts the responsibility on social media platforms to enforce the rules or face heavy fines if they don't comply. The Nova Scotia Liberals have 2 seats in the Legislative Assembly, so it's uncertain if this bill will pass. But if it does, Nova Scotia would become the first province to put a minimum age on using social media. Last year, the province put in place a cell phone ban at schools during class time. And school is in session in Quebec, and so is a new cell phone ban there.
It was hard because I'm really used to always having my phone with me. In the beginning, it'll be a bit hard, but I think I'll get used to it.
Everybody's got a cell phone in their pocket, and they grew up in this world, and now we're asking them to go back to a world they don't know.
Students are heading back to class under a new system-wide ban on cell phones and other mobile devices. But not all teachers are enthusiastic about this ban. That's because they are the ones who will need to enforce it. A group representing private school educators say teachers are already overloaded, while a parents group say there are still a lot of unanswered questions because the transition will require a lot of support from parents. Well, a new Terry Fox documentary is in the works and will include a treasure trove of unseen footage. Toronto filmmaker Sean Menard says he's pulled more than 90 reels of restored and mostly unseen footage for the film, titled Run, Terry, Run. The movie sheds light on the hurdles the Canadian icon faced along the Marathon of Hope and is set for release later this year. Terry Fox, of course, united Canadians in an effort to raise money for cancer research, though his run was cut short and he passed away in 1981. Well, if you live in Ontario, this could be a good way to spend the weekend. On August 30th and 31st, Cineplex is offering $5 general admission to moviegoers across the province. You can also get discounted snacks, great news, a small popcorn, $5 as well. A portion of the proceeds from ticket sales will benefit the Canadian Picture Pioneers, a charitable organization dedicated to the support and well-being of the members of the motion picture industry. There are more than 150 Cineplex theaters across the province of Ontario. Get out to the movies, always a good idea.